9.
Hello, I'd like to welcome you to Row 9 Studios. We're here today with our first roundtable. Today we're going to be talking about The Mandalorian. What are you guys' thoughts on the first episode of The Mandalorian?
First episode, personally, I loved it. I liked how it gave a lot of traditional feel to it, but brought something new, especially with that ending.
I think right when you said that, I thought of that first scene. I think the first scene is really good at setting the tone for the show.
What I thought was really interesting, what I really liked about The Mandalorian was like when he went down, when that guy that he had just first caught on a bounty, he goes down to the ship and he's got all these different people in the carbon freeze. I'm saying, oh man, this dude is a for real bounty hunter. Like, you know, when you saw Boba Fett, you know, you never saw like all the different people he had caught, but you're kind of like, man, this dude is for real.
Yep.
When he's got all these different people like up in carbon freeze.
The episode really picked up though. You know, when he returned back and he delivered his cargo, he delivered the bounty, he got his payment, and you're kind of wondering what this, they're talking about this Beskar steel.
Yeah.
Right.
And he's wanting to, doesn't want to get paid traditionally, it seems like. He tries to, his guy he goes to tries to give him some
Old
credits.
Imperial credits, right.
And he's like, the Empire's dead.
Right.
Those are meaningless to me. So I thought the episode really started picking up when you get a little bit of background knowledge. We don't get much, but you get to see a little bit of the Mandalorian's background when he's having the flashbacks, when they're pounding out his new armor. Yeah. So what did you guys think of that?
I thought that part was really cool. And just to see that there were other Mandalorians still in hiding.
Yeah.
Even though, you know, they had kind of talked about, oh, they've been wiped out, we don't know where they're at, and there's a whole little underground society of them.
Yeah.
Including one very important one, maybe.
Right. We get a little glimpse of him in the background.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting because, you know, you get backstories of things that always fascinate me to kind of find out why characters are who they are, why they do what they do, what motivates them, what provokes them, you know, and he's talking about, you know, for the foundlings. So you kind of see that, you know, you look at a bounty hunter, you kind of think of him as like having no moral compass.
Yeah. Right.
But then when he gets the Beskar, he's like, you know, this will help other foundlings.
Right.
You know, which I thought was interesting because it does show that he has a moral compass. That you kind of see that play itself out as the other episodes
I am still curious as to if he's a true Mandalorian or not.
Yeah.
They call him a foundling, and we see the little flashback stuff.
Right.
But we don't know,
I'm not
is he a
convinced.
true Mandalorian, or was he just an orphan they picked up on a planet and
Right.
decided he's one of them
To
now?
be determined.
Because
So,
he was
yeah.
definitely, you saw the battle droids
Right,
and stuff fighting
right.
wherever he was at. We don't even know that
Right,
yet.
we don't know where he was at.
But it kind of also made me think back to Rogue One when they closed him inside the.
Yeah.
It's kind of that same feel.
Right,
to
try
it,
to hide
you know?
him, right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or hide her, rather.
Right.
Yes,
Um,
that's interesting to see.
Yeah.
How that goes.
Now that I think the most interesting part for that first episode to me, besides the ending, but we'll get to that. When he goes in and he gets this new job and there's no puck for it,
Yeah.
and he goes in and it's obviously the Empire. You see the stormtroopers there, and you see this new character that we don't know anything about him yet.
Yeah.
He's obviously attached to the Empire, and then you see a doctor come in.
Mhm.
Or what we think is a doctor. We're kind of calling him a doctor.
Scientist,
Doctor. And there's something hidden in there that I don't think any of us saw for the first time.
No.
When we rewatched
I
it.
probably didn't catch it the first 2 or 3 times
Right.
I watched it, actually.
Right, but we saw that he had on his sleeve a patch from Camino. So that, to me, is very interesting.
It makes you
Yeah.
wonder: are they into the cloning thing? You know, what is their end game?
Yeah, I think that there is some major. I think there's going to be some major connections to Episode 9 with this, and this is just teasing us a little bit. But there's definitely got to be some cloning going on.
Yeah.
I mean, especially when we see the ending of this first episode, which was the infamous Baby Yoda.
Yep.
It was interesting, you know, when they just said he was 50 years old, and he said 50, and he said, you know, everybody ages differently. Just some of those subtle things I thought, you know, were really interesting. But I love the part where the droid comes in. I mean, you know,
bounty droid,
right?
Bounty droid, yeah.
I am part of the guild. You know,
Keeps trying to blow himself up.
Right,
Right.
he's like self-destruct,
Right.
like, you know, and he's like, don't do it.
Don't self-destruct.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Um,
It added a little humor into that whole action sequence.
Yeah.
That was a great action. That was a great action sequence. My thing is
There's
like,
a good like old western gunslinger
Yeah,
kind of
it
scene.
was.
right.
you know?
He's like this. He's opening up
Yeah.
and firing both
Yeah.
ways.
Just spinning it around. in
Right.
circles.
I thought that was interesting. But you know, the part that I really wondered, I'm thinking, who are these guys that are protecting the baby Yoda?
Right.
Or holding the
Or
baby
holding
Yoda.
the baby
That's the
Yoda,
thing, because
yeah.
you don't really know. Like
We don't know yet
at
all.
Like the guy that kind of helps him out, the one that Nick Nolte plays. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, you're kind of trying to figure out. You know, he wants him out of here, but you're wondering, are they there for protection,
Yeah.
or are they there to capture him? But
Yeah.
you know, which is always something I think is very interesting, and you'll just kind of see how. It
I love
plays
the
itself out.
tagline of that guy too. I have spoken.
I have
Spoken.
Yeah.
Just a good
The
tagline.
taglines are good though.
Yeah.
This is the way.
Right.
This is the
This
way.
is the
Yeah,
way.
that comes along
You
too.
know,
Comes in
Yeah.
episode 3.
You know,
Right.
so I think those are all interesting aspects. of it.
That was a great character. The guy, I don't remember his name. The guy who says I have spoken.
Yeah, I don't either off the top of my head.
But that's a great character, and just little subtle things that he does throughout the episode, and then we'll get to episode 2. But he comes back in episode 2, and it definitely
Plays a
helps.
big part in
Helps.
episode 2 actually.
I still keep going back to this, like this Mando character. He just, to me, like when you think of Boba Fett, you just think of no conscience.
Yeah.
But
He
you know,
definitely has one.
right? This guy, whoever he is, and you always want to know, is he ever going to take off his
Right.
helmet?
Right.
Will we
You
ever
know,
get a
that's been mentioned.
Will we ever get a name for him?
Right.
Right.
Because he's just the Mandalorian at this
Although
point.
although the name did release on the internet, I won't say
Yeah.
what it is. It did release, but we haven't seen it in the show yet.
Right.
And that is definitely interesting, and I think that ties back to, is he really
A
a
Mandalorian.
Mandalorian,
Yeah.
or is he some kid that they found and they trained in the ways
Yeah.
of the bounty hunter ways?
Right.
What was your take? Like, did you know it was a Yoda when he first goes up and he sees the little orbital ball?
I didn't expect it.
I didn't expect it. I didn't know it was a Yoda until
We call
you
it
get that-
Yoda because
right.
we don't
That's
even
all
know.
we know.
what the
You don't know what
species
to
is.
call them.
Until you saw it kind of from behind, and you saw
You
the
saw
ears.
the
You're
ears,
like,
you're like, oh my gosh.
what?
So what was your first take when you first saw, like, what was your first emotion, like when you saw the Yoda come out? Because like you saw it before I did,
I was like-
and you're like, dude, there's this part at the end.
like, you
you're
gotta
gonna be
see this.
wanting to see more. So I'm sitting there waiting. So I watch. I said, that's what he was talking about.
Yeah.
Like, what was
Yeah.
your first? What first came to your head when you saw the Yoda? come
I
out?
was watching it with my kids, and it was like we all just looked at each other like, oh my gosh,
Right.
we haven't seen another Yoda. I mean,
No.
we're calling him Yoda, but we don't even know the species.
Right, we've
We
only
have-
ever
we-
seen 2 in
we've
the
only seen
entire movie verse.
Right. And
Cartoon verse, every verse.
everything.
Yeah.
And so we were just blown away, and like I instantly went to the cloning thing, because
Yeah.
we've talked to episode 9.
Episode 9
I've been
cloning
convinced
a
there's
lot,
cloning going on, so I instantly went to that cloning thing. But I was so surprised. My favorite shot of the whole thing, thinking production wise,
Yeah.
my favorite shot of the whole thing is the very last scene, just that little couple seconds where he's standing over the pod,
Yeah.
and you see the little Yoda's hand come out like this.
And like,
The-
right to touch his hand,
As-
right?
Like this close, and then it cuts.
As my wife said, that was another little tribute thing she thinks from Fineloni and Favreau,
Yeah.
that it was an ET tribute.
That's,
Yeah,
what, that's, what,
yeah,
that's what I was
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
say. Like when they
Yeah.
the hand lit up and they touched the hand.
Yep.
No, I think that was my favorite shot of the whole thing, and I love. We didn't even talk about this before, but they're doing so much with production-wise at the beginning. Now they have that new beginning
Yes.
where they show they flash light over the
The
characters,
different characters'
Right.
faces.
and the
Yeah.
helmets, and which is super
cool.
cool.
Yeah.
And then they bring up the Star Wars text, which I love. But they're adding more and more to it, and I think that's something that we're going to see across all these new platforms. We won't see it in the movie just because that's already
Right.
laid out in stone. but
Right.
I think we'll see more and more of that kind of stuff. And then at the end, I love the post credit or the credit stuff that they have
With
on
the,
side.
the
It's
art, the
like
art,
artwork.
the art,
Yeah,
the
showing
art
the
is really cool.
storyboard.
You're an art guy, so
Yeah.
I know that for you
Yeah,
is like
showing the
something nice.
storyboard stuff at the end is really a
Yeah, it
cool
was
touch.
fantastic.
But something else that's underrated is that intro song, like the beat that
Oh,
they
it's great.
put.
It's
I
great.
mean, the
It's
beat,
fantastic.
the beat that they put with it, even the titles, like it's so really well done.
The sound in general, the music in general to it, it has its own feel, but it fits the universe.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Like-
So that's our discussion on episode 1 of The Mandalorian. We hope that you enjoyed it. Please like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel.
Roll 9.
Tell us your theories about episode 1 of The Mandalorian and Baby Yoda. All right, Row 9 signing off.
Roll 9.